All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday the 7th, and working on week number 7 and the final full week of the class. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend and enjoyed this wonderful weather we're having. And hopefully, you can all hear me out there. If I can just get a thumbs up or acknowledgement from the few. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. The one, two, three, four, five of you that are in class. So as you can see, we're missing quite a few. And we'll go ahead and move ahead in what we have in store for today. The few items that I have, let me just see what they are. First question I had for you, and really kind of disappointed there's only 5 in the class, but just wanted to find out of the 5 that are in here, how many are registered for spring classes or are set up already? And just show of hands on that. Larry, okay, thank you, Larry. And I know we have at least one graduate. Javier, all right, thank you. Let me turn my speakers on, didn't even think about that. And I know Brittany's about ready to graduate, so she won't have any more. And Kevin,
Professor?
yeah, Kevin's going to graduate as well, so that narrows the field down. So, Brian, are you thinking about classes or haven't decided yet? Larry's topography surveying. All right, good deal, Larry. And well, we'll wait to hear on Brian, or you can put it in the chat box if you want to, Brian. So I just want to make sure everybody was moving ahead. For those who listen to the recording, make sure that you are moving ahead on that. Javier, go ahead.
Professor, okay. I sent in my assignment earlier, and I put the subject title and wrong. It should be assignment. It should be assignment due, not attendance check. I turned my assignment in, and it had attendance check.
Okay, all right, no problem. I'll try to catch that on there.
Mhm.
Thanks for letting me know on that. I appreciate it.
Thank.
All right. Yeah, so if you haven't signed up for spring classes, please do so. I know and this doesn't apply to you guys, obviously, but my intro class is full, and I think the second intro class, there's only one slot opening. So I'm not sure. On the other classes, we're having pretty good attendance moving through, so not sure how fast they'll fill up. So make sure you make your plans and get ready for spring, because once we launch into wintertime, everybody's just like mentally on winter break, a Christmas break as well, as physically on Christmas break. And you already may be there, I don't know, on break. So, and we don't offer any wintermester classes through our CAD department, our drafting and design department. But just out of curiosity, has anybody signed up for wintermester classes for any of your academics or anything like that? Anybody? No. All right. Javier, do you still have a question? No, maybe. All right. So wintermester, yeah. If you haven't ever taken wintermester classes or Maymester class, especially wintermester, I took one back when I had to do. I was finishing up my second associate's degree here at TCC. Took a art appreciation class, and one of those classes you just want to get out of the way and get going on. And that class, uh, I enjoyed the class. It was a packed class because everybody has to take it for their associates, or that one of the choices for art appreciation. And I think we had a total of 10 days in the class, and we had to still hit the 96 hours. But between the different breaks and stuff, Christmas, Christmas Eve off. I think we had Christmas Day, and then I think there was a day after Christmas, and then the next week we had one day, and then we went to New Year's, and it was crazy, but it moved fast, and it was a good way to get some of the classes knocked out in wintermester as far as your academics. All right, so that's on winter classes, wintermester. And don't forget, for any of the job openings that we've been talking about, I haven't received any additional job openings this morning, job postings this morning, but if you do, I've received quite a few resumes from everybody, from a lot of you in this class and other classes as well, and from other instructors. And if you want me to send it in for any of the jobs that we have talked about, make sure you get it in before. I had a date down here. Before the 15th or by the 15th, which is what, next Tuesday, when our final exam is due, our final projects are due by. So make sure you have that in, because I will not be checking. I'll be going on, out of here, vacation, shutting down after the 15th, 16th, probably after the 16th or 17th. Once we get when I get all the grades in from all the other classes, I won't be checking email through until January. I think January 11th is when I come back. Let's see, I think I have that right. Yes, January 11th, and classes begin on the 18th. And if I got that right, let's check that real quick. 22nd. Okay, so I messed up on that. Oh, that was on the 22nd. That particular class. Okay, so they should be beginning. Oh, let me try that again. January 11th. Yeah, so they're beginning on the 18th. And let me just double check another class. I've been looking at this all last week and can't remember the dates. Of course, the two classes I pick are March start times. Let me just go to this real quick, just to reassure myself and know what I'm talking about. So yes, on the 19th, and that is on the 19th. Why is the 19th? 18th must be a holiday or something on there. We have classes starting January 19th. Interesting. So anyway, back to the conversation. I will be returning on not till January 11th. So if you want to get any your resumes in to any of the postings that I see that I've talked to you about, please get that in before the 15th or by the 15th, so I can get those sent out, because they will sit in my inbox until January. And a lot of companies, if you don't hear back from companies right away, or it takes a while, remember, we are going through two things right now. We're going through the Christmas or the holiday seasons, with Thanksgiving and stuff. So things slow down a little bit as far as setting up interviews and things like that. And then also things, they're very busy at work right now, and with holidays and smashed in between, employees go on holiday, Christmas break and things like that. So the work production slows down a little bit. So everything kind of doesn't grind to a halt, but it is still very busy, but they still have time off. So get those resumes to me. Let's see. So I talked about emails. I won't be returning emails during break. And don't forget, just because you're done with this class, just because you're done with TCC, if you need something, you're as an alumni, if you need some career advice or something like that, I'll give you what I can. If you're looking for work, even after you graduate, don't forget to contact me. I'll see what we have on the books. And next thing is course eval. We're going to do the announcements and packet 7 video. Okay, so that is about it. Javier, did you have another question, or you just still have your hand up there?
No, my bad.
Okay, no problem. Just want to make sure. And Brian said, yeah, could get only one that you need. Okay, Brian. So Brian, you can send me an email if you want to just answer that by email. Which classes were you trying to get and which class did you get? And let me see if a lot of times if we have enough requests for another class, we'll go ahead and post one in there. And then Brian, let me know. You can either let me know now or later through the email how close you are to graduation too. I'm not sure. I haven't tracked where you're at, so you can let me know that too, and maybe I can do something about the additional classes, Brian. So Larry says I took architectural appreciation at UTA Pyramids. Wow, very interesting. Larry, that would be a really cool topic. Good idea. James McGinn says, "Have you heard anything from me concerning the company?" And no, I haven't heard anything back. You guys will probably be the first ones to hear back. I'm usually the last, if I do hear back at all, either from the students. Thanks, Brian. So you will do. Either from the student, I'll hear back eventually if they get a job. Even if they have an interview, sometimes I don't even hear from the students, especially as we're going into break. And then it may take 2 or 3 months later, maybe 6 months, maybe a year later, I hear back from the students. Once in a while, you would think it's more often I would hear back from the companies, hey, I hired this person, they're doing great, etc. Thank you so much, or something like that. But out of I don't know 30 companies that handling right now, probably about 25 to 30 companies, probably 3 or 4 heard back directly from the companies, and a lot of times they'll email me back and say, "Hey, thanks for sending so and so. They're working out great. Do you have anybody else?" So that's the reason they're contacting me. So yeah, James and anybody else who's sending resumes that I've sent out that I've let you know I've sent out, you'll probably be the first to hear back. If I do hear anything, of course, I'll forward the email right over to you as well. Now, I did hear back from Power Engineering, not about anybody particular, but that opening was for the Fort Worth area, and they decided to redirection that opening towards engineering students. But with that said, they're still looking at the applicants that I sent, which was quite a few of you and some other ones as well, and they're looking at those applicants still for possible other positions within Fort Worth, but other positions there. So anyway, they're still looking ahead on that, and I haven't heard anything back from any of the other companies. Oh, there was one I did hear back from, Aerotech. Some of you, I sent a resume over to Aerotech, and they said that one position, if you remember, it was a drafting position, entry level, and I was really pushing you guys to send in a resume. It was like Monday, and they were going to set up interviews for that week. That position got filled, but Aerotech is a recruiting office, and he said he's going to be looking at other possible positions for the resumes I sent over to Aerotech. So things change pretty quick, especially with recruiting companies. That's how they get paid, is by supplying employees or applicants anyway, and so they move very fast, and some of the other companies like to move fast too as well. I don't always get real advance notice, but most of the companies, other than Aerotech, they give me some grace period because they know it takes a little while to get resumes and send in. Some of them I have on file, and I can send those right over because I know that students are still looking. Also, if you don't want to apply to any of the companies that I mentioned, but you would like to apply for future consideration, you can send me your resume and just note that in your email that for future considerations, please send it out. So that's another way. And I will try to always, and I don't always do this. I know I fall down on this, but I always try to email back and say, hey, I sent it out to XYZ company. You might be looking for email or a phone call from them. And that's another thing too, guys. Emailing. So if so it depends on the email that you have in your resume, right? In your contact information. If it's phone contact, that probably works out pretty good. It can work a little dicey on that now with the amount of telemarketers that were telemarketing phone calls. I don't know about you guys, but I get, my wife gets a ton of them, spam calls and stuff like that. But the same thing with email addresses. If you're not using the TCC email address, it could go into your junk. If it's your personal email, it could go into junk, so you might miss that too. So you might be aware of checking junk email if you're depending on how you have it listed on your resume. So just something heads up on that. All right. Let's see. So we will move ahead on that. See, we got all the comments covered. Next thing well, I'm going to go ahead and cover this. Is one of the announcements I have on the screen right now. Just a reminder on the course evaluation. I talked about that last week. Make sure you do that. I'll be reminding you several times, but it should be open. I showed you as well that it's in our home on the left-hand side of the home page, our class home page. On the left-hand side, it says Blackboard course eval, and there I go, starting the Y again. What does it say? It says course evaluation. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one down. You can access it that way. You can access it this way. But they really would like, and I really appreciate your feedback on that. All right. Let's see whether other announcements I had in there that I did send out, and I just want to make sure you guys saw them, because I know you guys aren't looking at emails on the weekends, just like myself. And I guess I closed that already. Oh, no, it's over here. Let me get it away from the screen then, and let me see let's see. So, all right. So I sent out an announcement for upcoming events through Student Development Services, and there's some good ones in there. Legal workshops, healthy relationships, healthy relationships, just a bunch of different classes. They're only about an hour long or so on there. So just want to make you aware. I don't know if you guys get these emails or not, but I just want to make sure that you receive those. Let's see what else I sent out. Student evaluation, we just talked about that. All right. And then I sent an announcement again emphasizing the Web Advisor eval. So make sure you take a look at that. And that's on the screen right now, or it should be on the screen right now. I don't see it up there anymore right now. Oh, there it is. Okay. And there's a link for student development services. Again, if you need any help with anything, but they can direct you to Writing Center or resume writing, or they can just go there for any kind of help that you need. So those are the announcements I sent out, and now I will pull up for next week. If you haven't looked at it, let me stop sharing this, and I'll go ahead and go to this one here, and lessons. Let me share that screen. All right, and packet number 7, your last packet. And if you didn't have a chance to look at that, this is all extra credit. Just one assignment. It's not required. If you go to Gradebook, there is a Gradebook will show. Let's say that. Gradebook will show that there are 0 points possible in there. And so if you turn this in, you will be able to get some extra credit. And so let me go back to real quick. And let me set the settings on this. Are you guys seeing YouTube right now? Is that Are you guys seeing that, or do I have to reshare? Okay. Okay. Thanks, Brittany. All right. Turn things on here. And, all right, Javier, thank you. James, thank you. And I'll go ahead and play this.
Professor, it's mute. It's muted, I think.
All right. Well, congratulations. You've made it almost all the way through the course. This is the last week, and this will be for packet 7. A quick review on what we have in store for that packet and for the week ahead remaining. So again, congratulations. I want to thank each and every one of you for doing a great job, working so hard. I know you balance and juggle a lot of things going on in your life between family and jobs and personal stuff and whatever is going on. So thank you so much for hanging in there, for putting up with me and doing such a great job. A lot of good work coming through on this class. So thanks again. So let's take a look at the last assignment for the semester, and we will have this posted for you by 5 a.m. on Sunday. On Sunday morning, the 6th, excuse me, 5 a.m. Sunday morning, the 6th. So packet 7, basically, this is all extra credit on packet 7. So there's 3 questions. You don't have to do this. It's not required. If you go to your grade book and look up packet 7, how many points possible, there is 0 possible. So anything added into it will be extra credit. There's 25 points possible for answering these 3 questions. So was this class beneficial to you? So you can just put yes, no. You can give me some explanation. Nothing complicated about that. How could the instructor improve this class? So just give me a general outline, or you can get as detailed as you want on this. We will also be doing a course eval, which we'll be talking about as well, which is separate from this. This is a little more helpful to me. Both of them are very helpful, but this is a little more helpful, pinpoint some of the things they don't ask on the course evaluation. And then the third question, how could the technology that was used in this class, online delivery, improve? So, a lot of you know a lot more about technology, social media, maybe more about YouTube than I've learned over the last 6 months. But give me some general feedback on that. So if you answer something in all 3 questions, you'll get 25 points. If you answer just one thing in one of the questions out of the 3, you will get 0 points. So all 3 have to be addressed to get the full 25 points or to get any credit at all. As before, extra credit is either full credit or no credit. In this situation, I will not have time to return it to you and for you to correct whatever is wrong in it. So if you're going to make an attempt at it, answer all 3 questions. They don't have to be in detail. They can be short answers at the minimum, but all 3 at the minimum have to be answered in some way for the 25 points. So the rest of the week, we'll just be working on the final project. The 15th, the day after this packet is due, will be for working on your final projects, your final exam. the 2 projects we have going for those. So that will be on, this will be due on Monday. So Monday we'll be having you time to work on the final project, final exam, and as well Tuesday, the 15th, and all the way till 11:59 p.m. When it is the finals are due. Again, it's just a reminder, the 9th, the on December 9th, the final exam has opened up. So just a reminder on that if you didn't catch that on previous lectures. So that's it for the rest of the week, and that's it for packet number 7. So all extra credit not required, but if you want to get some extra points, and I appreciate any feedback on that as well. Thanks so much, and we'll be talking to you soon. All right, so there you go on packet 7. Let me know if there's any questions on that as well, and we will go from there. Let's see, we got a lot more people in the class. So for those of you who are coming in late, let me know. A quick question out to you. Have you registered for spring classes? For those of you who came in late, if you can just give me something in the chat or a thumbs up or something if you've registered, or okay, James McGinn says he has. Oh, for Revit, good, good. That's a very valuable class, James. A good class to take. And Brittany. You can, yes, Brittany, back to the, I think you're talking about packet 7, you can answer the questions by email, yes, and just make sure you put extra credit, you know, packet 7 extra credit in the subject line, and yes, you can answer those. So, James, again, I'm doing them both. Hopefully not at the same time, James. Revit 1 and Revit 2, I hope, I think that's the way they're listed anyway. Hopefully I didn't list them at the same time. First 8 weeks and second 8 weeks, I hope, James, because that's quite a challenge to take on. Yeah, go ahead, James.
Yeah, I'm doing I think it's the residential first 8 weeks, and then it's the commercial for the second 8 weeks.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, yeah, it's a pretty intense software, so yeah, definitely that's a good way to do it. And that residential is like the intro, so it gets you the foundations. I think it works on a single story.
Yeah, I actually have to rebuild my PC to do it.
Okay, all right. There's always a
So
challenge somewhere, right?
yeah, so after this class, I'll be taking it apart and just rebuilding it with all new things that will make it function at a good performance with no graphic issues.
That's really smart to do, especially when it comes to Revit, because um, you'll be switching back and forth between your 2D and your 3D model, and every time you do something in 2D, it generates the 3D portion of it. So that graphics card and processor are really important. So very, very smart move, James. Good job.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, so for those of you in late, I guess nobody else is. Let's see. James said he is. All right. So that will do it as far as the lecture portion for today. I don't have any PowerPoints for you today, and we're wrapping up. You know, so I want you to focus on the 2 projects at hand. Again, as I said in the video reminder, it opens up on the 9th to submit your final project if you're done. Remember, once you submit it, that's it. You cannot go, oops, I forgot to do something. So make sure it's 100% the way you want it. I know um, some of you might know this and some of you might not, but there is always some point that you have to let go of a project. You can probably work on it for the rest of your life and finding these little things, and oh, we can change this hatching and change this gradient, and et cetera, et cetera. So make sure that when you do submit it, it is at where you want it, or at least at the point where you think, well, I'm not going to do any more on this. This is as much time as I'm going to put into this project. The other thing is I wanted to reiterate, some of you have been on this packet 6. I've rated some of the on the 2 points. Made some comments on that, some stuff looking really good on that. One of the things that's been fairly consistent on that, and just to let you know, and I'll comment on the rest of them that have submitted them in. Just make sure that the 2-point perspective is NTS. I was getting quite a few with scales already put in there. So NTS on the 2-point perspective, sheet 1. And that will go for sheet, the detail, or not the detail sheet. Well, the detail sheet will be as noted in the scale, and then in the title block, and then each detail will have its own scale in the text portion. I showed you how to put that in, and then on the table sheet will be NTS, of course. And then back to the cover sheet. Make sure. And I did comment on those, and I will comment on the rest. Make sure you know what your focal point is of your landscape. There's always, either from the curb or walking up towards the house, there has to be a focal point where your eye is drawn to first. So you want to make sure that is obvious when I open up the sheet, and that is important on both the front yard and the TCC garden project, Rotunda garden project as well. Know what your focal point is. That's the first thing your eye should be drawn to, and not because it's bright red or maybe it has a bouquet of different flowers around it or something like that. So just be thinking about that as you're doing those 2-point perspective, what your focal point is. All right, those are just a couple comments on that, and I'm gonna cut out here for about a 15-minute break, and then I'll be back at 20 after, and I will be here till 3:15 today. Larry, you had a question? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm kind of shifting gears a little bit here. Anyway,
That's all right.
I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm getting confused on what exactly is an irrigation detail.
Well, if you Google, and I think I posted some examples on there through the PowerPoints and things, but all you have to do is Google images of an irrigation detail, and you'll get all kinds. So basically, it can be a backflow preventer. That would be a detail, drawing that. That would be a detail. It could be where your ICVs are, how they are positioned in the ground. That would be another detail. Another example would be how you would have a shutoff valve for the irrigation system, a separate shutoff valve, but not the shutoff valve for the supply line for the house or for the building, but the supply line to the irrigation can have its separate shutoff valve. So that would be another detail.
Okay, so it's not just the parts or something.
Yeah, it can be. It can be it could be a valve. That would be a detail.
Okay.
It could be how the lines are run, the wires are run to the clock, and showing the conduit and connection point. That could be another detail too. Yeah. So yeah, it could be parts. And like I said, the backflow preventer, that's a part. The valve, that's a part. So you could even, the type of head that you're using. If you're using a Hunter half head or adjustable, you could call that out, and that would be a detail that will be a different detail than a Rainbird half head detail. Because if you look into the side, because you'll have to get inside these sprinklers to see them. Yeah, inside the part, that would be a detail. Sure.
All right. Now, in the viewports, is that where we type some details on it, or we just put the name and?
So kind of both. So if you let's take a concrete detail, a footing detail, for example. So yeah, you'll call out, concrete, and then you'll have hatching concrete, called 6 inches of concrete, 12 inches wide, or whatever it is. Let's say you have a support that is going to go on top of that footing for your pergola, just for example. So you'll say it's a U-shaped bracket for supporting the pergola. And so all that information and dimensions will be actually in the detail. And then off in your notes, you'll be saying that the aggregate or the concrete has to be a certain mix, or the bracket, it has a certain bracket for the pergola support has to be a certain specification. The rebar, you can call out the 6-inch rebar in your detail, the actual detail portion, but in your notes you'll say 6-inch rebar, or number 6-inch rebar, that it's going to be certain length, or every so many inches within the slab. Those type of things that might not be shown in the detail that you'll call out in the title block.
Okay, all right.
That help a little?
Yeah, it helped a lot.
Okay, cool. Thanks for asking, Larry.
All right.
And I'll give a few seconds for anything else. And Brittany, you emailed me a question. I can't remember what that question was. I think I already filed it. Let's see, that was, can you give me some words, Brittany, or open your mic, or one of the two, on what that, because I thought other people might have that same question and I forgot. I'm sorry, Brittany. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you can't remember either, I think I responded back to that email. Oh, the irrigation timer, and that, okay, thanks, Brittany. Yes, so Brittany was talking about the irrigation timer to be shown as far as zoning. That's what it was. All right. So and I think you referred to the TCC project. So the timer would, sorry about that. The timer would be called out on the plans for the irrigation plan. The timer location would be called out, but then the zoning information would be in the title block. Okay, so the actual timer itself would be called out on the plans, and then you would call out in the title block, is it zone 1 for lawn? You don't have to put how long it's going to be on or anything like that, but zone 1 will be lawn. Zone 2 maybe would be a drip system for the planter beds. Zone 3 maybe would be for deep root watering of trees. Zone 4 maybe would be for maybe have a water feature that needs to be hydrated, water added to it, because if you've never had a water feature before, there's an evaporation process that happens, whether it's well, especially if it's moving water. If you have like a waterfall or something like that, you get splashing. It's an evaporation process. Even if you just have a bubbler, or even if you have it stationary and just a filtration system, you still get evaporation from the surface level. So those things create a need for it to be refilled. And so I tied mine in California when I had a very small pond there. We had a pool, and then next to that, a small pond area. And I just put a drip line from the irrigation sprinkler, from the sprinkler system. So when the certain zone came on for a certain length, it would fill the pond up, bring it back up to level, because especially in the summer months when the evaporation was higher. So maybe that would be another zone. So yeah, the zone breakdown, and again, you don't have to put the duration, the time, but that's over in the title block. All right. And Brittany, I didn't check email again, but hopefully I answered your questions or enough in detail on that. And anybody else who either had that question or didn't think about that, hopefully I gave you some good information on that. And that will apply to your front yard project as well. Iman says, is there a final project for the, yes, that is one of the, if you look at, if you go back and review the recordings when we talked about the final exam, there's 2 parts to the final exam, and we went over that specifically part 1 TCC, I believe it's part 1 TCC and part 2 front yard project. So yes, Iman, there is. Brittany says, I did answer the question. Okay, you're welcome, Brittany. All right, anything else? Anything else? All right. I'll be back at about 1:25. What happened to PDF? Help me on that, James. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, that when you go to convert a PDF now, I sent out an announcement that you have to now go to re-register. There were some details on how to do that. It's pretty simple. I did it myself because it went to a cloud version. So you have to go back in, and you probably already have an account just using the TCC information. So yeah, go ahead, James.
Oh, I was just saying it for some reason. I mean, I used to be able to make PDFs no problem, and now it took away my access, and it's just making me every PDF I do is an online document, so it will open the internet, and you have to have the internet to do it.
Right, yeah, and that's because they went to the cloud version, as it said. It said in the announcement I sent out. I got that. I guess what we sent in. Remember, I was trying to get PDF Pro for everybody, and there was a way to do it. And finally, I got the information back, sent that out to you. Well, in the meantime, they changed that up, and I guess they went to the cloud version probably so they can track things. So yes, you will have to have an open internet on that.
Okay, because when we send you PDFs, is that going to affect anything? Because you'll probably have to open our PDFs online then.
No, you make a PDF, and I'm not sure if it ties it online, it won't affect anything. But you just attach it the same way. So you make the PDF, you save it on your local file, and then you attach it just like you have before. And then when you send it, yeah, it may take me to the cloud. I don't know how the link all works on that, but it should just open just fine.
Okay.
And if you want, James, if you want to do this for everybody, or if anybody else wants to do this, you can, once you get registered for the cloud service, then you can just send me a test PDF, just put in the headline test PDF to make sure I can open it with no problem. I haven't had any problem from anybody else within TCC. This probably the first with students, but I didn't anticipate any problem with that. But if you want to, James or anybody else want to send me just a test PDF, doesn't have anything anything specific, any drawing or anything like that, just send me a test PDF, and I'll just make sure I can open it. I'll respond back.
Okay, because I updated my resume with some information, and I realized I had my number wrong in there because it's a brand new number. So I was going to send that to you, but it was making it all online and everything, and that's where I realized I ran into this issue. So
Yeah, okay. So go ahead and send that to me. I'll be your test.
Okay.
That'll be perfect. Good point. Thanks for bringing that up.
No problem.
All right. Anything else? All right. I'll be back at 1:30. I'm going to take a quick break here, get some food, and I'll be here till 3:15 to answer any of your questions. All right. Thanks for your time.